software industry for about 15 years. I worked as a programmer for a company started in the late 90s. I was knocking on the moon, learned a lot, had a lot of fun. Started my own business called Solutions. We design and build cool items. Got two of my colleagues here, Matt Hernandez, our Chief Operating Officer, and Paul Hankel. Oh, did you just sneak in? And here's Joe Slag, Paul Hankel. And there's Paul Hankel. This is a talk that's loosely based on facts and largely based on experience and our gut feel, my gut feel. We're trying this thing out. Has anyone used this yet today? I was told last night that this is a voice hive as a startup here that I'm presenting. So if you have a question for me, I've never done this. I don't even know if this works. Is anyone from Voice Hive here? Okay, well, let's test it out for them. You can go to minibar.voicehive.com, click on Q&A or something like that. Select this session, type a question, and it should show up on my phone. Or you can just raise your hand. This is or don't even raise your hand, just yell at me. This is highly informative. So throughout this talk, I'm going to refer to finding talent and becoming talent. Oh, look. There's two types of, in general, those are the two perspectives that I'm taking. There are people here who are in charge of teams. Maybe they're hiring managers, maybe they're project managers, maybe they're founders, CEOs of companies. And you're the people who are looking for talent. Then there's people who are programmers, designers, testers, and you're the people who are trying to become that talent, or you are that talent. Basically, what I'm going to say is, I'm calling them employers and employees. I know it goes a little bit deeper than that, but usually say, we're going to refer to them as employers and employees. You may actually be able to understand. So, one of the messages that we have for employers is that in this current state of the market, we believe that culture matters more than you think. So everyone's used to seeing pictures of like the Google office and all these cool .com startups, and maybe even work in one of those offices that has a pool table and a swing in their office, like we do. That's culture, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. So. I think a fun environment matters in my office, so we put a swing and an earth in there. Okay, that's cool. Kind of big deal, whatever. It matters more than you think. So, however much you think your office culture matters, or your culture matters, you're probably right. Push yourself a little bit further even, and think about what your culture means to your employees. People matter. And this is one of those obvious points, but if you think about it a little bit more than just like, all right, I need cool people to work with, I need good talent. It's more, it goes deeper than that. It's personal interactions. It's we're all human beings. Diversity matters. And when I say diversity, I don't just mean racial. In fact, that's just one out of dozens and dozens of factors that goes into diverse culture at your office. What I refer to in terms of diversity is an environment that inspires creativity. This word creativity and these two words, creativity and diversity, are not often associated with software or with building software or the tech industry in general. But what I argue is that the software industry is actually a very creative industry. And I don't just mean visual. In fact, I'm not even referring to visual. I'm referring to creative thought. As a programmer, or as a designer, or even as a project manager or a team manager, creative thought is something that we all do, whether you know it or not. If you have a brain, you're thinking creatively. Diversity is actually, this is one of the few things that I'm going to say today that's actually based in some research that I've actually read about. I'm sure there's conflicting studies, but a diverse work environment would be that with men and women, people of different races, different ages, people of different sexual orientations, people of different interests. A diverse work environment actually fosters creativity. Creative thought is what we do when we build software. So one argument is that if you actually create a team, don't just hire like the best Java programmer you can find. You might actually want to hire someone who's not that good at programming, but brings an element of diversity to your team that you didn't have before. So maybe they're not all 25-year-old college graduate white men who have a degree from U of M or computer science. Bring someone in who maybe was a musician, and mixes the team up a little bit. There's
I work I'm a software developer. One kind of diversity that I think is perhaps the most important of all and gets overlooked a lot is sorry. I'll just actually seems to be off. All right. Am I good? Yeah. We overlook diversity of temperament, and I think that's perhaps the most important of all. On a software project, I want somebody who's a little bit anal and linear, and somebody who's a little bit of a wisher dreamer, and somebody who just thinks completely off the ball, and somebody who's obsessive, compulsive, masters details. If you have a bunch of people who are just one of those things, you are in serious trouble before you even pick the line of code. Good software teams need people to think in different ways, and maybe even more than any other kind of diversity. That's point one. The thing is, if you're looking for people from different backgrounds, of different kinds, that's one good way to get that. Because the truth is that people who are demographically similar also tend to share cultural characteristics and think in similar ways. And
any questions or comments?
Yeah. I think one of the other important things, especially in a fairly homogeneous culture like development, software specifically, is introversion and extroversion. And also as part of recruiting and creating a fun, hip culture, consider the mix of introverts and extroverts and what you're privileging. Because if it's all extroverted activities, great, you're going to piss off one of your better coders who doesn't want to be part of those conversations. On the other hand, you also don't want to hem in your really personable developer by saying you can't talk to customers. That's great. You can't do that. You have to control both of those.
That's a very good point. And I think the number of factors that determine what diversity is, I mean, they're countless, and I think that's a great one to point out. Any other comments?
Oh, I agree with a lot of the points, but at some point, you get some dysfunctionality that might be colored as diversity. And pinpointing that, knowing differences, sometimes is a good way out of the
Yeah, you can definitely have. So I've been running my company Must Out for close to 10 years now, and like I said, I started off as a software engineer, and I thought, oh, I'm going to start a company and just like hire a bunch of programmers and designers. How hard is that, right? Well, it turns out the hardest part about running a team, we're a small team, we're 10, 11 people. The hardest part that I never anticipated running my own business wasn't sales, it wasn't biz dev, it wasn't project management, it was getting the right chemistry of a team together. And if any of you are managing teams or on a team, we're all, at some point you've been part of a team or a tribe or a group. Human interactions are just so complex that sometimes it's hit or miss. Yeah.
So how do I get my team to buy into this? You know, typical interview cycle, they sit down and ask some programming questions. I don't have a lot of faith in that as an interview style anymore, but I don't know how to tell them to do anything different.
But I think
At the end of the day, maybe I'm biased, but I want people who can actually sit down and write some code. So I need some step function.
That goes without saying. You can't be part of a diverse team and be a dumbass. I mean, it's just, it's not going to work.
But you know, it's not just my decision.
It's not just your
It's an
decision.
individual hiring. I don't want it to be just my decision. I have to get my team to be looking for that same sort of diversity. How do I get them to buy it?
So what I would encourage you to do, and this is a hard step to take, what I would encourage you to do is put your foot down and just say, I strongly believe that we need to consider more than just how good their code is, and we need to consider all these other factors. And you'll get pushback and just be that squeaky wheel. I don't know your work environment, I don't know your colleagues, but I do think that putting your foot down and saying, I truly believe in this, and here's why. If you give concrete examples or like points behind why you believe this, people will listen. And it might be an uphill battle. I mean, I've been fighting uphill battles my whole life. But if you just stick to your guns, like something's going to budge at some point. And it's hopefully going in favor.
Maybe a follow-up to that is if you're always getting candidates from the same place, the same group, that's going to be an issue. So if you can open your funnel up, who's coming in the door to talk to, then you may naturally have people jump out on you. And I think that's a big part of this too. Are you even having a chance to interview people who are interviewing university?
No, because I have to give my recruiter a profile, and I get people matching that profile.
So tell them this. I got hired at a company called Retech, which some of you probably know, and some of you who work there, work with people here. Retech hired me, and I almost told them that they got the wrong guy, because I had no programming experience. Well, I had very, very little programming experience. I was hired to be a programmer, and it was almost laughable. So I was the only senior in Computer Science 101, Intro to CS at my college, my last semester of college, because I figured I should learn how to program before I actually got paid to do it. But they didn't hire me because of my coding ability. They hired me because maybe I fooled them in the interview, but they thought I could solve problems and actually learn. So building software is not just about writing code. It's about solving problems, which is a creative process. So anybody can be a programmer. Anybody. You know, even my grandma, who actually figured out how to stream Korean soap operas on her iPad. Like, people can become programmers. And kind of cheesy, but potentials, not credentials. I have a friend who was a hiring manager at a software company, and you know, they'd open a job position, and as we all know, it's a pretty hot industry to be in. 200 applicants, 300 applicants, and he'd sort them by education level. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. But he's like, no. PhDs and masters go at the bottom of the pile. Because this was early on, this was like in the 90s when the industry is moving like this. And he said, if you just got a PhD, you've missed this bubble that's about to burst. You've missed all of it because you've been in academia. So I don't care if you have credentials of a PhD. We don't need that. Granted, there are some companies and some products that actually require probably extensive academic knowledge. But we weren't building like complex security systems. And he said, if you've been in academia for 6 years getting your PhD, you don't know how to deliver software under pressure to a client that is screaming at you. Like, there's more to building software than your smarts. Here's another thing that I think programmers will appreciate. Managers might not. But implementing processes is an attempt to replicate what happens naturally in small teams. So what I'm talking about here in terms of like the employees, the people who are going to be the designers, the programmers, and the testers, the title of the talk is Finding Top Talent. So I'm not referring to, like, not everyone can't be top talent. I'm not being elitist, it's just a fact. quite a bit. So you can take a team, a software team that traditionally might be run at a large company with, let's say, 10 developers, 2 testers, 3 BAs, a project manager, a dev manager, and you got a team of 20 people. I argue that you can actually, if you go after top down, you can shrink that down to maybe 3 people. And when you do have 20 people, that's a lot to manage, and that's why there's usually someone who's in charge of managing that. What do? They implement a process. They implement a development process, whether that be waterfall or agile or pick your process, I don't care. What I'm saying is when you can shrink that team down, increase the skill level of each person on that team, throw process out the window because it just happens naturally. Assuming that you have a team that works well together and you can build software together.
Jeff, can I send you back to slide for a second?
Yeah.
I'm wondering for you when you're looking at folks, how much do you hire on personality, fit into the team, culture versus skill set? Like you can hire the best programmer in the world. Like as someone said a couple of weeks ago, I can't keep hiring a bunch of arrogant assholes.
Yeah.
You know, like they gotta be able to fit the team.
Yeah.
So what's the mix?
So it's very much of a gut feel. There's no easy answer. We kind of boil it down to a phrase that we have: no dumbasses and no assholes. You got to be smart. I don't care how cool of a guy you are, how much I want to have a beer with you. If you're not smart and you can't solve problems, well, you can't work on a new team. At the same time, if you're, by the way, I use the term rockstar ninja, kind of joking that these are silly terms. But if you're a rockstar programmer, but you piss everyone off, like you're not part of the team. Building software is very much a team thing. It's like a sports team to me. Everyone has to play together, and everyone has to play the positions, and you have to work together to build it. So you have to balance between the two. So we look for both.
So, as the manager of all these Rockstars interests,
Mike.
I would say, from my perspective, I think personality has a lot to do with it. Probably the majority. Like I think we take for granted a base level of intelligence and aptitude that shines through very easily, but then so do personalities. And to the no dumbasses and no assholes, you can have an extremely talented technical person, but like they say, if you can't work within a team, you're not going to produce a great product. I think at the same time, you can also find someone with a personality that's great and build that aptitude and have an elite team really grow that person rapidly if they have the right personality to jump in and try to along. And the slide that we're on about process naturally happening in small teams. I've managed many types of teams, not elite teams and elite teams. And I think the biggest thing I've learned over time is the people part of it really matters a lot. And I think the way understanding everyone's personality is kind of critical to making the team work. And what's often difficult is you are very focused on the work and the end product that you need to churn out. But I think understanding everyone's personalities, their strengths and their weaknesses, and playing to those really makes a huge difference. Because not everyone is good at everything. Certain things set some people off, and if you just kind of cater things, it's amazing how you can shimmy things to get a great product, even with people who have conflicting opinions.
Excuse the typo here. That slide used to say fun is an indicator of success, and I changed it because I think predictor is a better term. But we actually use this gauge quite a bit in taking on work, is trying to think about how fun it's going to be. There are some studies that show that software quality is largely based on how engaged the developers are, and how engaged the developers, designers, testers, the doers.
This is gospel.
And Paul wrote the gospel. project, and they're almost to the point of obsession. We all know you're going to be up at 2 in the morning working on this. You're not going to get up and go to the bathroom. You're going to skip your dinner. You're not going to drink a glass of water for 14 hours because you're just so like engaged in the work that you're doing. That to me, or to a lot of people, that's fun. Like when you're so passionate about something, it's so much fun to just work on it. Studies have shown that when people are engaged at that level, the number of bugs goes down. The quality of the software goes up. And so we've almost turned that into a business model. And I encourage everyone in the industry to try and turn it into a business model where a good product is the direct result of how much fun your team is having. So if you have an idea for a product, or if a client comes to you and wants to hire you, think about how much fun it's going to be to work on that, and if you're like, oh, that's going to suck. Well, the product's probably going to suck, and your client's going to be angry, and you're going to go over budget, and so just say, screw it, we're not even going to do it. We're just going to, even if it's a huge deal, just pass on it because your life might stop. Another approach that I encourage employers to take is to put a little bit less emphasis. This is a kind of bold statement. I realize that this is not quite living in reality, but what time the team comes to work and what they wear shouldn't matter as much as it does in some environments. There's plenty of companies who have gotten rid of this altogether and said, you know what, flexible work environment, work from anywhere, work anytime, after dress code, whatever, that's cool. If you're not one of those employers, or if you're on one of those teams, and you're like, and you go to work, like, this suit just sucks, and I can't concentrate on my code because this tie is bugging me, your product's going to suck. Because someone wants you to build a suit. Going back to creative thought, so creativity comes to people in different amounts at different times. I myself personally, I tend to have like a lot of focus and creative energy from 1 p.m. to 2 a.m. And I think that's partially a factor of just like no one's around, my kids are asleep, nobody's calling me or emailing me, and so I can concentrate. But I know plenty of people who have the same thing where their creative energy comes at certain times of the day. So, like for example, I know Paul is mostly creative during the night, wee hours of the night. So I'm not going to schedule a meeting with him at 9 a.m. because I know he's going to suck in that meeting. Same with, and the same kind of goes for dressing. I don't know. That's a personal thing for me. And when I'm uncomfortable physically, I don't do good work. So I'm more comfortable with those. Any comments about that? Okay, so the second half of this is for the employees. It's for the people who are going to be doing it, who are going to become the ninjas and the rock stars. Which again, ninjas kill people. Rockstars do drugs, so that. So how do you become top talent? Well, first you do something, you make something. If you're trying to build an iPhone app that you've never done before, and you're like, well, I can't do it, I'm just a designer. Screw that, just do it. There are plenty of resources online to learn things. Nobody has any excuses, except maybe time. I've got 2 kids now, so my time for learning stuff is actually limited. So I realize that there's reality. But in theory, you can do anything. You can, if you want to learn how to build an Android app, build an Android app. Really, there's 2 outcomes. You fail, and you get frustrated and give up. Or you actually do something and you learn something. Maybe you succeed, maybe you fail. But you've learned something and you decide that you're going to continue and get better, get better, get better. And so one of this was in the description of my talk. I was on a soccer team with a guy who no matter what you did on the field, he would always just get in your face and say, do better. It didn't matter if you like scored a goal from 25 yards out, he'd say, do better. He was obviously partially joking, but that's kind of true for everything in life. You can always do better. So if you're trying to build an Android app and you build it and it works, but the user interface kind of sucks, and it's a little slow, well, do it again. Do it better. Like I said, I got employed as a programmer without knowing how to write a single line of code. What I studied a lot, and I'm not saying that I'm some genius or anything. I worked a lot, and I went to school at night in addition to my job. And I read books, and I tried things, and I kept failing. And of course, at some points I wanted to give up. But if you put yourself into it, put your mind to it, you can actually learn much. Okay, so this is, a lot of people don't believe this. I say you're wrong. There's no line between design and engineering. You might be a rockstar programmer, but if you don't understand user experience, I'm not saying you have to be a designer if you want to crack open Photoshop and make the most beautiful interface. You have to understand it. Same thing with designers. I've met too many designers that just say, you know what, I can make it look awesome, and I'm the best designer ever, but I don't know how to code it. That's not my job. You know? Well, you kind of suck as a designer.
Here designers in particular, I'm a designer, but I hear designers in particular refer to the dichotomy they express between designers and developers. And in my mind, designers are developers. I mean, they need to see themselves.
And especially now that we have interfaces like browsers, and we have beautiful screens, and the screen is the human interface to the software, so it's one continuous thing. The thing about, how many here call themselves a programmer? All right, how many here call themselves a designer? And how many here call themselves a little bit of both? So the programmers know that there is an element of design in writing code. And I don't necessarily mean like colors and fonts. Everyone knows beautiful code when you write it. You can write the same algorithm 25 different ways. You can come to a point where that code is beautiful like poetry. There's a design element to that. So that's an element of creativity that goes into writing something very logical. Same thing with designers. You've designed a web interface any time in the last 20 years. You know that there are very logical elements to a user interface, especially now that we have mobile devices and the whole responsive movement is upon us. Even though I think responsiveness has been around forever. Now that it's a buzzword, I guess, building a responsive layout has a lot to do with logic and mathematics. So there's a lot of logical thought that has to go into creative design. Does anybody disagree with me?
I don't disagree. I would add that.
Just say, let's take it outside.
No. I would add that I was, I'm a developer, and I worked on a project years ago where the mentality that was lead on was the mentality that I took was a very complicated app that had power users and very novice users, and we just focused on make it work, and then we'll make it work better later. And it was really an eye-opening experience because it was really such a failure, basically with all users, because we didn't focus on that user experience early on. Yeah. So I would, this is awesome.
Jump in on the Korean project. I think developers make design decisions whether we want to or not. We have to. When you write code, you are taking things that are vague human thoughts and translating them into a computer language that is completely unambiguous. And in the process of doing that, you make decisions of a precision that no business analyst or user interface designer or specifier or customer, no nobody will ever think at the level of detail that you think when you're coding. You are the last step of turning human thoughts into something that actually functions. And when I sit down and code for an hour, I make 1,000 tiny design decisions. There are things, just minute aspects of behavior or even timing sometimes can be a huge thing. Priorities, what code do I optimize? That's sometimes a design decision. Developers have to make these decisions. It's impossible to specify it all beforehand. And because of that, if a developer who is in fact making these thousands and thousands of decisions that ultimately define the product, if they aren't invested in the design, the experience of the person who's using it, they're making bad decisions. If we're writing code that's going to get used by a human being, we have to be designers, and we don't really need to have a choice about it.
So, I just want to, off of that too, I think this kind of speaks to solving problems. I think the key to lead teams, to lead people, is solving problems, not running off of a spec sheet and requirements that have been defined very narrowly, and it becomes about just ticking the box off because your product does this thing. So I think we really focus on understanding the nature of the business or product or whatever it is you're building or solving, understanding the full scope of that so that you can make educated design decisions as you're coding. And then, part of that is the investment. And I think part of that is the fun of what you're building is to fully understand its impact rather than, just working off a set of requirements that have been handed to you.
I think your anecdote underscores every one of the issues that I see, the underlying problems that I see, and that's that design isn't seen as something that is an integral process of implementation. That there's throwing it over the wall business, i.e., when you're having to make those decisions about what kind of easing is required here, maybe something that wasn't even.
But things
Why
get
is
thrown
there
over
not a
walls.
dialogue with the person who is best qualified to make?
But things get thrown over walls that won't break in any kind of process. Let's just try that.
I think what you were saying was kind of conceptual, but when I'm building really good teams, I try to get the best people possible with wide range of skills. So I've got a Rockstar engineer and a Rockstar designer, and I'm building something with user interface. There is no line between those two people. I want them sitting at the same desk because those two people sitting next to each other are going to make each other do better.
Yep.
So a designer doesn't know if he has a problem until he hears something from an engineer who he might see once a week, or maybe a stand-up or something like that. If he's sitting with that guy, he knows what his problem is, and together they're able to solve it.
So I agree with that 100%, and I'll take another 50% further and say that designer should become that programmer, and that programmer should become that designer. Right. So when the designer is designing an interface that has some technical complexities to it, they actually understand that before they finish the design and possibly design differently because they understand some implementation complexities.
Do you think that's possible in all cases, or that everybody's capable of doing that? It seems like, I don't disagree with this, but it seems like it's very biased by the fact that probably most people in this room make websites, and websites are sort of this unique case of programming where most of them are just like skins over database operations. And I think that, I would argue that maybe if you're writing the code that makes the Mars rover move around, you might not need to have an understanding of how Photoshop works, and that people that are incredibly talented at doing that might be able to give valuable contributions to a web team, even if they have no ability or no visual sense.
I added my qualification about code that's used by a human framework. Plumbing is a different kind of coding, but we're talking about things that users interact with here. And of course, it's not realistic to expect a designer to be an expert developer. And even within a team, developers can't be experts on everything. We have to ask each other, hey, you're the database expert. If I want to do such and so, is that going to control performance? The important thing is just we overlap enough that we're aware of the problem before it comes, and we have the conversation about it first.
I think there's a spectrum, and everyone falls somewhere on that spectrum. Like, I've certainly seen people who are both great designers and programmers. Those are exceptionally rare, kind of unicorns. But there are people that are sort of more developer but understand design well enough, and much more design more on the development side. Certainly, if you want something visually appealing, you need someone that weighs more on the design side.
So, I read a lot of back-end engine platform stuff. Pretty much all I've done. I used to think I didn't have user interface. And what I realized is that my API, the things that the designers, the web developers, the people, potentially several applications now are using, that's the interface. And it has all the same design principles that you know about a website. It has to be discoverable, it has to be clear, it has to be consistent metaphors. All of that discipline, I don't use Illustrator, but it's exactly the same way of thinking. So I don't think being a web designer or a web developer makes that any easier or harder. It's just you have to be able to think about how people are going to be consuming your code, whether it's a person looking at the screen or whether it's a developer swearing at your website. It's the same, basically. No, you're right.
So I went to a small liberal arts college, and someone described the experience as this. Learn a little bit about everything, a lot about nothing. I'm like, yeah, that is absolutely right. I graduated not knowing how to do anything. But I knew a ton about little things, and what I realized is, what I learned in college is I learned how to learn. And that's kind of what we need to do in this industry, because what you're doing today is going to be irrelevant tomorrow, and there's going to be a new platform out tomorrow. You're going to need to learn it. So you learn to learn. You don't learn Java. You learn how to program. And so I'm going to shift this to learn a little bit about everything and a lot about something. So this is, I have to Paul Carroll here. This is taken from,
The valves.
Valve, right. So the Valve teamwork and teamwork. The Valve guide for new employees. So they look for what they call the T-shaped employee, which is you learn a lot about many things. That's the top of the T. So you have a broad, very, very broad skill set. So in terms of the web programmer, you know some Photoshop, you know some HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you know maybe how to set up Apache, or you know a little bit about the whole spectrum of being that web designer, but maybe your specialty is actually in Photoshop. So that's the vertical part of it. So you got to deep dive into one skill set. And that's more of what I'm advocating here, is that not that designers have to be the best back-end programmers as well, but that from spectrum to spectrum, of front end all the way to back end, that you understand enough of the whole thing where you can have an intelligent conversation and fully follow what's going on. You may never write a single lick of back-end code, but you know how to talk to it. You know, you can talk to Chris, writing all that back-end code. And at the same time, you have a specialty, and that specialty is going to be kind of what you're good at, and that's why people have, you know, when I say who's a programmer, well, maybe your specialty is in writing code, but you should still understand design. Yeah.
I want to add a little bit to that. I think the hungerness to learn, sticking to or marrying to one technology for a longer time as an employee is not going to make you a superstar.
Right.
So I've done lots of interviews where people say like I'm doing this in Java for 10 years. What other scripting languages have you worked on? My company doesn't know what it means. That's a wrong accent. So there are a lot of open source, very good contributors, ton of other stuff that you can. And I want to see something. And I want to hire somebody. I don't want to hire somebody who works in Java.
Right.
It might be a great job that will go to a plugin in Java, but that's not what companies do.
Right. Totally agree. And to add to that, I'd say when I look for a programmer, I'm looking for, I use the term very broadly, engineer, software engineer. There's no, I don't care if you know Ruby or not. If you're a software engineer, I'll give you a few days and you'll become a Ruby engineer. And the same goes with design. If you're a UI designer, have you ever used Twitter Bootstrap? No? All right, here's the website. Come back after lunch and now you know Twitter Bootstrap. So I totally agree. I don't like when I see people hiring for a specific language, because it's very limiting, it's very boxy. And what that tells me is that language might be the right solution right now, but maybe there's a revelation in the company and go, oh, you know what, we should really be using Python. And this new framework is going to get things done much faster. In fact, eBay did a rewrite where they had two teams, a Java team and I can't remember exactly. Node.js, you're right. It was a Java team and a Node team. And they basically said, all right, both teams rewrite eBay. And they weren't convinced that one was better than the other. They just did an experiment. And it turned out that the Node team got the code done much faster with lower bugs. And they were both equally talented teams. So they weren't locking into the platform at all. They were taking engineers and saying, this team use Java, this team use Node, and let's see what happens. Your training today will be irrelevant tomorrow. Kind of joking about that. Because I don't think Java is going away anytime soon. So if you're trained as a Java engineer, that's the blue line, you're probably going to have a job for a while. Your Java training is not irrelevant right now. But relative to iOS, there are more Java jobs out there on the market right now, but the rate of increase for iOS is obviously much higher. So this is the percent growth of iOS relative to the percent growth of Java positions on Java. This data is taken from Indeed.com. So everyone has heard of Indeed. You know, I didn't look at Android, but I did look at this, which was interesting. If you plot iOS against monkey.
What's monkey?
It's an animal. No, I literally just typed in monkey, and this is what we have. So question your data. So the bottom line is for the employees who want to become the Rockstars and ninjas and of course is learn something. There are more resources out there than I care to keep track of. These are, and everyone knows, you've heard of all the explosion of boot camps, and this is probably 1/5 or 5% of all the schools that are out there in this country, popping up worldwide. Here's a slight plug. Smart Factory is a school here in Minneapolis that I helped co-found. Teach iOS, Android, and mobile app design. All these other ones are either in other cities or online. Course Report is a company out in New York that actually is a directory of schools. So if you're looking for a school and you don't know where to go, you don't know what's out there, Course Report, they're gathering data. So their database is getting better every day. But if you go to CourseReport.com, you can find a school somewhere that teaches something you want to learn. Has anyone ever attended any of these or a coding boot camp?
Code Academy. There are other ones too, like Coursera, that are a few universities like Stanford or some of the for free. So actually, I ask every time an person comes to me, I ask which one they do. That tells at least me they are paying attention.
Yep, and if any of you are interested in going to these coding boot camps, the idea is that you go to a full-time coding boot camp and say you need to learn iOS, you can sign up and take like a 6-week or 12-week course, and you come out of that hopefully with a job. And some of the more successful schools have actually, they have data that shows you paid $15,000 to come to my school, graduated, and you got a job, and you're making $30,000 more than you did before. So a lot of times it can pay off. The Smart Factory is not a commercial school. this is sort of it's a part-time, we offer courses that are 6 weeks long, 1 night a week, and you'll work with two mentors per class. And it's really intended to give you some training as a launch pad into new technology. This is, like I said, this is by no means a comprehensive list. There's probably 200 of these. I just picked the ones that had logos that were easy to find. So that's it. We have about 5 minutes left. If anyone has questions or comments.
Something that comes up, well, okay, let me without any context. Ownership. When you're dealing with highly talented people, issues of highly talented people, one of the things that are motivated by, they're more highly motivated when they have sensibility in practice, what can you do to increase that, facilitate that, or manage it and mitigate it as an issue?
So ownership is a tough word because there's two implications. One is that you take pride in the work, you feel ownership over it. The other is that you have financial stake in something and that you're actually going to profit financially from the quality of your work. More often than not, it's the first one. I feel pride in my work and I feel ownership. So my name is attached to that product, and I want the product to be as good as possible because people know that I work on it. What I found is that is actually very good incentive for programmers and designers. Top talent, people take pride in their work. I can offer financial ownership to people on my team, and they said, it's something I had, just pay me what you pay me, and I'm going to do a good job because that's what I do. But I'm very good about, or I should say, what I would encourage people to do is really recognize that people produce the product. That recognition goes a long way.
So I would also say, I think how I give folks ownership is in how the process runs. I think that's a huge piece. I kind of often I cater to everyone's individual way of thinking, which probably isn't the most scalable model, but I think it's more scalable than people want to acknowledge. Everyone's different, everyone thinks differently, and if you can get the information out of them in the way that's easiest for them to get it out, and then compile it all. So, sometimes if it's just estimating or picking out tasks, we use a variety. Everyone almost has their own process, and I just cater to that. It actually makes my life a lot easier than trying to shoehorn them into something that works for me, and then everyone nobody being happy.
And I wanted to say, can I also answer your question? Just as a developer, if you want to give me a sense of ownership, two big things. First one is a lot of what Pat said. Just listen to and value my input, even if you don't end up using it. If I have an opinion and I know that opinion was heard, and somebody said, "Thanks, Paul, that's a good idea," then I don't really actually care whether it ended up being the last word. But I want to be heard and I want to be valued. That's number one. Number two, don't put me in a position of building something that I'm going to be embarrassed about. Nothing is more demotivating than building software that's crap. So make sure that we're building a good product, make sure that I value that, and I think that's it.
Just a quick question, or I don't know if we're getting going, but so you spend all this time building a great culture. It's very inclusive. How do we tell people about it?
You mean in terms of trying to hire
Actual recruiters.
to attract? I think
Do many bar sessions.
too many persons. Talk about
To add to that, how do you source people differently in that you're looking for like people that you want to be able to teach that to more than people with a certain skill set? Like is the way you look for people different? Does that matter?
To answer your question first, I think, first of all, it depends on what your company's goals are. If you're a growth company and you're hiring like crazy, then that's a challenge. If you're a small company like us, we're not trying to grow, so we don't have a hard time because we're not hiring. But if you are trying to hire, this is a small community, the Twin Cities tech community. People will go. when people know where the magnets are and where people are being attracted to. So we're looking around, and you can do things to encourage that flow. And to answer your question, it's sort of the best of both worlds. Are we looking for talent, or are we looking for people who have the attitude to learn? Well, both. So I want somebody who, that T-shaped employee who's really good at something that with a skill set, but is also expanding that top bar ever further out to learn more and more things. So,
but it sounds like, I think you answered my question, that since you're not hiring a ton of people all the time, it's not like you're trying to get resumes in the door, trying to pick. So outreach like this is probably how you.
right.
Find.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot. I'm happy to stay for a few more minutes to answer questions.